Did you want to wait a few minutes or a
Well,
couple
I
minutes?
mean, maybe one, two people probably will pop on, but basically it's just so that we can inform. We'll put it up on our page and let people see it after.
It's a beautiful day on the farm.
Yep.
Cigar. Look at that pumpkin patch, guys. It's huge.
But anyway, as you probably read on the title, that we said we're going to finally share what's been going on. And I know that a lot of you who have been following us have been praying for us and sending us well wishes and all those kinds of things. But I know there's people out there who don't really know what's going on. I mean, some of our neighbors and our friends and family obviously have known what's going on, but we thought we would kind of know what's been happening and kind of what, and also to share with you what God has done for us.
Yeah.
So, you all remember that a couple months ago, I don't even remember now, everything's been a blur, but basically we came on and told you that we're not going to make videos because we're facing something that we have to deal with 100%. And that was me. I'm guessing you guys probably figured out that there was something going on with me, and you're right. Short story about it all is that we discovered that I had a tumor, a very large tumor that was cancer on my ovary. And so obviously we had to give all attention to that. I went through all the testing, imaging, all the doctor's appointments, all of the stuff that a person would go through that has that going on.
Mm-hmm.
And long story short, I had to have surgery. And that was August 2nd, I had surgery. And it was really like the kind of surgery that is, they had to cut me open and it was pretty thorough. So I have about 8 weeks recovery. But that was about 4 weeks ago. And so we had to wait until yesterday to get my prognosis. We had an idea of, when the surgeon did the surgery, he kind of told us what they found, and they're actually kind of positive about everything, but they couldn't put their stamp of approval on it until everything was sent to the lab and confirmed. So, with all this being said, many of you know that my sister Ginger just died of cancer. I mean, we buried her in May. She lived here at our farm here for a while. She had terminal cancer. It was horrible. It was a very horrible time. She went through a lot of pain and suffering for quite a while.
Yeah.
And of course, we were right there with her through the whole thing. So it was a shock for us, to me, discover that I have cancer, literally like less than 2 months after she died. So it just kind of like rocked our whole family's world. And pretty scary getting that diagnosis, especially finding a very large tumor, because how long has it been there? What's the prognosis? I mean, immediately you go right down those roads, and it's usually a dark thoughts. But we do have our faith, and we have the Lord, so we leaned on Him during this time, and He definitely sustained us. And so many people in the community, our family members, just kind of rallied around us, even though they don't really fully know what was going on. A lot of people just knew there was something going on with me here. Oh my word, cards, meals,
Meals. Yeah. People committed to prayer.
people praying, people just being so supportive, lending you vehicles. I can't even, I'm just telling you, just this community is amazing. I'm just so thankful for this place where we are. I mean, honestly, I've never known anything like it.
Well, before we get into those details, let's talk about how you're doing. How you're
Yes.
doing
So,
first.
what we were going to share with you regardless, no matter what the prognosis was. But I will tell you that we prayed and we leaned on the Lord and we begged Him for a good prognosis, that I would still be able to live here at Abundant Life Farm and do the things that He called us to do here. And I am very pleased to tell you that a miracle happened, and that the doctor said that out of all the cancers that could be on your ovary, there's over 20 of them. He said I had the one that can be removed, and that there's no other thing that needs to be done. That I don't need chemotherapy, I don't need radiation, I don't even need to be followed up. They said it's a very small percentage of a reoccurrence. and that is usually 5 to 10 years out, if that would be to happen. But he said to me, it's not going to come back. Obviously, he doesn't know that. Only the Lord knows that. But again, it's such a small percentage that it kind of like, it's like anything is a small percentage. I mean, we get in our cars every day and we drive knowing that there's a small percentage that we could be in an accident. There's a small percentage of any kind of thing that could happen to us. It's never 0%. So
Right. The thing is, we didn't know this good news until yesterday. So, early on, when we made that first video and said, hey, we need to devote our attention to this problem, all we knew that she probably had a very large cancerous tumor.
can you move the camera, honey? I just can't sit like that anymore.
Let me go like this.
Kind of comfortable.
So that's all we knew, and had to go on for weeks. I mean, weeks. And so she would have aches and pains and stuff, and our minds are going this way and that way, and
my sister, of course, just passed from
exactly.
cancer.
So
she had terminal cancer. It was horrible, and of course, that's immediately where my mind went.
So everything kind of took a back seat. Our projects. I mean, I feel like I said to Jackie several times, I felt like I was kind of tumbling through the days, just trying to get through the days. And but now that you know the good news, I mean, I definitely want to talk a little bit about the community and the outpouring of support that we got here, not only in Lemster, but churches that we have attended in the past. Never left a church and disgruntled. But we serve, and we're musicians, so we serve in different churches sometimes, and those people that we have become close with reached out and really committed to prayer, brought meals over because she wasn't cooking, and I'm utterly exhausted when I get home from work. Of course, my son and his new wife are in Missouri. They live in Missouri, so Evelyn's here, my daughter, and she's been helping out a lot. And then, along with
my sister Glenda, of course.
Right, we had family members step up and do that, and then just people in the community that have been like
Unbelievable.
down the street. Friend of mine, John, lent me his car when she had doctor's appointments because she can't drive right now. So that I could get to work and they could have a car. Evelyn would drive her to her appointments. But I mean, really, up until yesterday, we didn't know that all of this was. I shouldn't say we didn't have an idea, but we didn't know for sure anything for certain. So we didn't.
We had hope. We had hope. I mean, we're holding on to hope for sure. But as far as it being confirmed, it came back confirmed that it's unbelievable. It's like a miracle. I feel like I was telling Micah, I feel like I was dead, but now I'm alive. It's just so crazy, and it's like I feel. It's like I'm in shock.
One thing that early on that I had been praying about, because so we sat out here in these chairs and we were talking. It was maybe a week into her diagnosis, and she said that, I think it was Evelyn that made the connection with the name of the farm.
Yeah.
I'm going to sidestep here just for a second, give you a little bit of insight on how we came up with Abundant Life Farm. We're sitting in church, and the pastor said something about abundant life pertaining to the Christian life, and it really stuck with me. So I wrote it in my notes on my phone. I typed it in, and then after the service, Jackie said, "What do you think about Abundant Life Farm?" And I said, "That's it."
Because we had been going back and forth the names, no. But then that occurred. Yeah, it was like Abundant Life Farm, and so I was like, wow, okay, obviously that's Abundant Life.
So we feel like that's another step, like that's another thing that was kind of a divine thing, that it was literally God's will that was the name of this place, and then so one day Evelyn said, "Wow, Abundant Life." She's like, I mean,
it's more like I forgot
She said
the house on
the
Haunting
Hill House, haunting of Hill House, or
or
something
something.
like
It's some
that.
show or
It
something.
was
And
just
she's
a
like,
dark thing, and I well, when we were sitting out here and
but she
talking
meant
about
it.
that, I said, you know what? I said that's just another thing
Hmm.
that I feel like would give people cause to mock God, to say, oh, Abundant Life Farm, really? I mean, seems like there's a whole lot of sickness and dying over there or something, you know.
Yeah.
But so early on, my prayer was, and I even said to myself, no, that can't be. So my prayer was that God's name wouldn't be mocked, and I feel like
Hmm.
that was,
Hmm.
really a turning point for my mindset, for
Hmm.
my state of mind, was thinking about and being reminded that it was God who brought us out here. It was
Hmm.
God who named this place Abundant Life, and all along that journey, even not knowing that um, her cancer was going to be completely removed, um, we had that assurance, we had that encouragement, and so that was kind of significant. I thought you guys should know that.
Yeah. So, with all that saying, we just came on here because we want to tell you that we're extremely grateful and thankful for the community and all that people who have stepped up and really just shown an outpouring of love towards us during this time. It's been totally noticed and blown
Hmm.
away. I mean, honestly, it's like God has just put us in such a beautiful community. I'm so thankful to be here. I mean, even one time, like, I mean, just little things like because I was bedbound. With my surgery. I'm almost 4 weeks out now. I'm still healing and I still have my limitations. But at first, I mean, I was like bed bound. And just thinking about wanting blueberry bread, it's like I knew the blueberries were in season and I kept thinking, oh, I want to make blueberry bread, but I can't make it. I was like, I'm not going to make people make me blueberry bread. You know what I mean? They're waiting on me hand and foot. The last thing I'm going to
Right.
say is, go make me blueberry bread. Our neighbor sent us a text and said, hey, my wife just made you some banana blueberry bread. I'm going to drop it off. And I was like, that is unbelievable. Just little things like that, that it was just so wonderful of God just showing up through our
I
community.
mean,
And
so many times things happen like, well, we wanted to can. We have a huge garden here. We wanted to can and preserve some of our food. And so one of our neighbors, Terry, came over and offered to can some of our vegetables,
mm-hmm,
and helped out with some of the things, her care that we
mm-hmm,
weren't really sure how to do. She kind of showed us how to do it, and it's just like every time we turned the corner, there was some new challenge, and then some amazing provision
yeah,
to take care of it.
yeah,
And so it's like all along the way, we just really have not had to worry about a whole lot.
yeah. And also too, I mean, our garden, you've known that we planted this garden and we had big plans for it, but obviously God had other plans. Just so you know, our garden is bursting with all kinds of food. Like we can't even keep up with it. We're putting it out front for people in the community to just come and take away, and that's what we've been doing as much as we can. Only Micaiah, he's been out there
Right.
picking it, but just so much. It's
I mean, we
unbelievable.
have a little donation bucket out there. We're going to use that money to put into the garden next year. And Lord willing, we'll be able to can and stuff next year. But we're really enjoying meeting neighbors and talking to neighbors on
Yeah,
the front porch.
leaning over.
And but I'm picking so much out of the garden that I just can't finish.
Right, there's so
There's
much.
so much.
Yes, that
The
it's like you
tomatoes are
can't
just,
just pick it. It's just so
there's like
much.
bags and bags of them
Yeah,
every day, and I can't pick them all. So
yeah,
definitely feel like God has blessed this garden and this place and everything.
yep. And we'd be amiss to not give all the glory to God through all of this, through bringing us through this trial. I mean, I'm still healing. That's not over. That part is not over yet. But I'm thankful that God has given me more time. I mean, nobody knows how much time they have. But I also wanted to share too. My sister, when she was going through her battle with cancer, it was terminal. She was praying for a miracle on this earth. She was praying to be healed. She never was. But she would say things like, "I'm so thankful that God gave me," talking about herself, "this path, this battle, because that way you don't have it." She
Hmm.
was talking about me. and my, my other siblings, that she was just thankful that God had given her it, so she didn't have to, that we didn't have to deal with that. So she died before she knew I had cancer. But I said to the Lord when I found out I had cancer, I asked him, I said, can you honor, my sister's, it wasn't a vow, but it was like, it was an, she carried that, she, as an honor when she was living, that she felt like she had something that she was dealing with that was kept from us.
Right.
And I just feel like the Lord is, even by allowing this cancer to be removed, that he's honoring even my sister's battle.
Mm-hmm. I think coming to a close on all of this, Jackie's got like 4 more good weeks of recovery from the surgery. Now we're talking about just recovery from the surgery, and then we're gonna hit the grindstone. I mean, we're gonna be full steam ahead with whatever we need to do here. I mean, I know she's itching to help and stuff. She can't right now because she's not really in a position to physically help, but until then, you can see the blue tarp in the background. I'm still working on that foundation.
Yeah.
We're gonna get that concrete poured before it gets too cold, and get that sitting on something firm, and then
raise that Ebenezer.
Yeah.
That's the one thing that we talked about too, is that through all of this, like, we wanted to raise an Ebenezer. If you're familiar with the Old Testament, like, people would raise what's called an Ebenezer. An Ebenezer is a stone of, it's literally
hope,
called
right?
stone of help.
Help.
And that it's pointing to something, and it's pointing to show what God has done.
Right.
We're not taking credit. It's not something that we did. It's pointing to what God has done, and we want to raise an Ebenezer. And we believe that this Ebenezer that we'll be raising is the stone foundation that's going to be holding up the dance hall and the dining hall.
I want to say something too about both of us. Jackie had a really great attitude, a godly attitude through the whole thing. I know not all of you that are watching are religious or believers yet, but and we haven't really made this channel as like a preachy kind of channel. I just want to say a couple of words because I know some of this is probably going through some of your minds. Even we thought, well, her sister had to die of cancer, and then she got healed, and she has been thinking, why me and not somebody else. And it's like it's one of the challenges in thinking about healing or God's providence in these matters is, if things had gone the other way, what would her attitude have been? What would she have been thinking and saying at this point? And through the whole thing, she kept saying, if this is my lot, I'm going to praise the Lord anyway. I'm going to continue to worship God. Our time here is so temporal. This flesh is so weak and frail, that even if she didn't receive this really great news and whatever, that she would still proclaim God's goodness and serve him with the time that she has. And so we definitely thank God and honor God for what he's done. He has a purpose in this, just like there was a purpose in her sister's death. We don't always know what those purposes are. God's ways are not our ways. The healing sometimes doesn't happen, or the good prognosis doesn't happen sometimes. And it's like, I guess the one thing that she said was, we really don't have any control over that. We plead with God and come to him in supplication and faith and believing that he's able. But we also know that this life, even Abundant Life Farm, is extremely temporal. And so all of this to say, we're not presuming on God that he is going to heal every person's every ailment instantly. but we are recognizing God's mercy in this situation, and that there's some other thing that we need to do, and some reason for us to be here and for this place to kind of thrive in the midst of this community. And what we're saying is, thank you, God, for your mercy, and we're saying, show us the next step, and we want to do it.
So we're happy that you guys are following along, and you'll be able to see. We're going to continue, obviously, with the renovations. I mean, it's important. We came here, and we've been working on that foundation, raising up that Ebenezer. It's going to stand for, Lord willing, another 230 years, and it's going to point to what God has done.
Yep. Yeah,
And
this is. Yeah, I guess you're right. This building itself is probably the monument of hope, for us.
Yep.
So the live stream is over 20 minutes now, so let's sign off. We love you all. Thank you very much for staying with us, and we will see you on the flippity flip.
Right, we'll be back to making videos. I mean, obviously I have a lot of recovery to do, but Lord willing, we'll be back to doing some videos and keeping you guys updated on all the things that we're up to, because like he said, full steam ahead. There's no wasting time now.
Yeah.
I mean, when you go through something like this, it's like recalibration, and it's laser focused, and that
Right.
all the things of the world just kind of fall away, and we have plans, but ultimately we're waiting on the Lord to establish the work of our hands.
Right.
So stay tuned.
All right.